Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Scene Snobs Network, but I'm not here to talk to you about the Scene Snobs. I'm here to talk to you about Max and Jason, Three Geeks Podcast. You will probably tune into the Three Geeks Podcast and be like, 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, there's obviously more than 3. There's like 89 million of us. We started with 3. We're like gremlins. We just keep multiplying.
Yeah, they fed us at midnight. They poured some water on us. And now it's like 78 geeks. But you can be a geek too.
If you like comedy, which we sometimes do, if you like hearing about movies, TV shows, you like hearing hot takes from Max and John, you like hearing somebody who loves most things, but when I get mad about a show, it's pretty entertaining, I gotta say. But no, we're the Three Geeks Podcast. We're just a group of friends that don't talk to each other through the week so we can have natural conversations on Sunday.
Yep. We're
like actually probably the worst group of friends because we don't ever talk to each other outside of doing podcasts. I mean, except for you and I, but that's because we're roommates. But, like Three Geeks Podcast. Tune in, check us out.
And have fun.
Yes.
Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, and recycle your droids.
Hey everyone, it's John Orlando from the PVD Cast, and I wanted to take a few moments of your time to let you know where you can find the PVD Cast. The online home of yours truly, PVDcast.com, is a great place to go, but it's also available through all the major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, etc. There's also live broadcasts of the PVD Cast every single week. Mondays 8 p.m. Eastern through the Facebook page of the PVD Cast, and Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. through the Scene Snobs Facebook page. And no matter how you listen, please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. And with that, I will chat at each and every one of you later.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan, and I'm here to tell you guys about thescenesnobs.com. We're a channel of variety, comedy, entertainment, geek-related, sports, the whole 9 yards. We cover almost every genre. We have so many great shows to choose from. We have shows like the Scene Snobs Podcast, BTB Podcast, The Guapo Show, the Sports Snobs Podcast, the PVD Cast, Jeff Dwoskin presents Crossing the Streams, the Three Geeks Podcast, the Fandom Effect. We probably have the only Matlock-based podcast called Matt Talk, and we're introducing new shows all the time. We have new shows coming up like the Ear Hustling Podcast, Carpool Shenanigans, and of course, From Some Nobodies, Twitching Upstream, and Talking Upstream. So come on, check out thescenesnobs.com, enjoy it, and please leave feedback. Like, follow, subscribe us, and just let us know what you think. We love to have all the interaction. So I, again, am the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan. Check out thescenesnobs.com. You can follow us anywhere on social media at The Scene Snob, and we will talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Hey, everybody, it's CJ Graham, Jason Voorhees. That's right, Friday the 13th, Part 6, and you're listening to thescenesnobs.com.
What's going on, everybody? I am Mick Manhattan. This is the showcase. We are back again. This is season 2. If for anybody who's never seen the show before or is just starting to listen, I started this show as a way to talk to my friends, have fun, talk to interesting people, enjoy conversing with, who bring me joy. And so far, so good. Until these two show up. I've had them on 3 times before. This is part 4 of our ongoing series. And I don't know what's going to happen tonight. We might get into death metal coming out of Northeast Asia. We might get into sea shanties. No one can tell. But what I will tell you, it will be interesting. Without further ado, I want to bring in 2 of my buddies. And I have to do him first because I feel bad for him because I did not do him first in the post earlier. Mr. Brian Patrick from Skyline Indie Film Festival, and Mr. Steve Nerangis from Varla, Dogwood, and from the Alamo Drafthouse, Winchester. What's up, gentlemen?
See who's got top billing now.
Oh, now you said something, so now Steve goes up here.
Hey, look at that. All right, now I know how to work this now. Just keep every time when somebody else says, I'm just going to talk right over everybody the entire time and keep myself at the top of this. Here we go.
Is that how that works? So I got to keep chatting to get on top of the list?
No, see, Mick moves that
Oh,
around.
it didn't work.
The king has control. But I'll tell you what, because you guys are the guests and you're the more interesting of the three of us, I'll go down here for now. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. And,
yeah, what are we talking about today?
I don't know. That's the interesting part. But I know it will be interesting. That's the only thing I do know, because we always seem to get into some really fun topics. So one thing I will say is you guys are both killing it lately. You just had a movie premiere, Steve, which is awesome. And Brian, you still have submissions going for Skyline. How are you guys doing with everything?
Submissions are going well. We're about halfway through the submission period. We're ahead of last year, which is saying something considering there's a pandemic going on. And yeah, feeling good about it. And the few narratives that I have watched so far have been really good. Steve submitted one. We'll see how it goes.
I can't wait.
It's only 13 minutes long, but it feels like a solid half hour. Enjoy it.
Well, we're gearing up. I mean, all of these damn film festivals showing back up, and I still can't go to them. Womp womp. I'm hoping by September I will definitely be at one at least.
I don't know. The submissions I was working on yesterday, there's a lot of stuff that's scheduled for October, November, and it looks like they're trying to be live when possible, right? I mean, as you know, you're going to judge for our Virginia Immersion Filmmakers Festival, and that's going to be live. Of course, we were live last time too. We just kept rolling. We're rolling right through this thing,
I love it, man.
We might as well do it.
I just watched the first submission, which I won't say anything, of course, right now, but like I really enjoed it. I really did.
Dish. You got a dish.
What's that?
Am I allowed to talk about it? I don't know.
They're not watching.
Oh, that's true. Nobody's watching. That's how this show works. This whole channel. That's why I bring other shows on, because nobody watches me. So basically, it's youth on Black Lives Matter, and it's I think it's about 5 or 6 young teenage girls who, teenage girls of color who are talking about Black Lives Matter and what the movement actually is and what it means. And the one thing I really found refreshing and fun about it, it's terrible how it came to be, but what I find fun about it is that these young activists they're taking up the storm. They're just like, you know what? You guys fought your fight. It's our turn. And they're really going for it.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. That's some of the stuff with the documentaries that these young filmmakers make. I mean, it's more about what they're trying to say than the technical aspects of it. Right. So I thought it was a pretty powerful message. And one came in today too, that you'll see later, that I thought was really strong. You'll see in my vote, and I gave it like possible award winner. So you'll be able to find it quickly.
Nice.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I haven't rated it yet. I need to sit down and rate the thing, but I wanted to think about what I wanted to say after watching. It's kind of a heavy subject, so I was like, all right, let me actually think about my answer as a very big white man, rating and reviewing a documentary from young teenage girls of color who are talking about it. And I was like, so, don't take that lightly.
When you guys start out screening and watching films and reviewing and stuff, do you watch a bunch first before you start rating to sort of calibrate yourself against this year's submission pool, or how do you guys do that? I like to get a sort of feel for the entire submission pool, or as much of it as I'm screening myself.
For me, I sort of I don't do it that way, but I have found myself sometimes I get 20 or 30 films in and going back to the first 2 or 3 and saying, let me look at these in a different light now, right?
Yeah.
So I just try to do it, but now we're 3 years in now, so I sort of have an idea for where the level is going to be, right? I'm sure you do too. But it's it's an interesting festival, and you get surprised sometimes by the level of quality some of these kids can have. You also get surprised sometimes. I'm sure you see this too. And actually, when I judge for Skyline, I see this too. It's like, did you show this to anybody before you spent your $20? You know what I mean? Come on.
That's more the that's the more typical
reaction. It's like, I know your grandma loved this, but
Yeah.
you should show it to people you're not related to.
Yeah, that's like even this one there's no real cinematography to it. It's just them talking into a camera. But I honestly like they're very engaging, and I think that of course makes up for a lot of things. Like you can have a good story, it can look like crap, but if you're still engaging with it, like it means something. But I do agree there are some.
The one that came in this afternoon that you're going to watch that I said might be award kind of stuff is like similar subject matter. But it's filmed really well, and the audio is really good in the interviews. And I think that's something on these student films that is often lacking is they'll just have really bad audio. They don't bother to fix. And it's like the same sort of thing. It's like you're watching through this. It's like you realize your audio is all over the place, right? But the one film is like it. I think they really got it right. So that was exciting to see this early on, to see some kids that are nailing it. Excited.
Yeah, it's good when it all comes together that way. But we had a submission 2 years ago, I think it was, and it was shot on mini DV, and that has its own limitations or whatever. But you could see directorial style and elements of filmmaking in it. So it wasn't the crisp, sharp image, but that's a choice they made. They still knew how to make a film.
Yeah.
So I mean, with young filmmakers in particular, they're still getting that experience. They're always going to be getting more experience, but a lot of them, this is their first film, or they've made something just with their friends and their buddies, like we used to do when we were kids and stuff like that. So I think the Virginia Emerging Filmmakers Project Festival, however you want to classify it, it's pretty important stuff for filmmakers in the area.
Yeah,
it's cool too to see some of the kids have submitted each year, and it's really cool to see their growth. They're 14, and then by the time they're getting into college, how much it's improved.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool to watch.
I was actually going to ask you guys that. Like, I know you've had multiple filmmakers who have come back and kept putting in, submitting each year. How rewarding is that for you guys to be able to see like the growth in movies? Especially like the emerging filmmakers has to be great because these are young filmmakers really coming in. But like even for Skyline, how about you? I know Brian, you've had a lot of returns.
Yeah, a lot of return filmmakers, and that always makes you feel good. It makes you feel like they got some value out of it, and we've got friends in Rock Hill, South Carolina who've submitted every single year, Straw House Productions. And one year, the first year in 2013, their short film won 27 questions. It was great. And the next year, their feature didn't get selected, but they came up anyway and did the festival with us. The year after that, their film was selected. The year after that, it was, and the last 2 years it wasn't. And they still, they didn't come up in 2020 because of COVID or whatever. But so that's good to see that they just like what the festival is. But my favorite thing is when people come here who don't know each other, and then in a couple of years they're back with a collaboration project. That's just the best for me. Nice. It's like, yes, it's working. The festival's working.
That's really cool. Yeah.
I know for me the other day, you'll appreciate this, both of you. I was scrolling through Facebook, and I'm a part of a billion filmmaking groups. For the fact of when we had Pulling Focus, I put it up there. I posted there, but I often I'll go in and talk to different people. And one person, young person said, "I'm just starting out. Can anyone tell me what they think of film festivals?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, there you go, right there. I can plug a bunch of film festivals for you right now." And I click on it, and the first one is they're a scam.
Mm-hmm.
So I immediately, right under him, replied to him and go, "Oh, so you've never actually gotten in?" That was a war that went on for a couple of days. That was so because there were people siding with him, and I'm just like, "See, none of you have ever been selected. This is how this works." Huh? And then others are like,
"That's easy trolling right there."
Oh my god!
I've submitted to some stuff in the past that got into that. Later on, you're like, I don't know if this thing ever happened or what they were doing. And then all these people post on Film Freeway. It's like, these people never got in touch after, they were supposed to have done their thing. And it's like, so I believe there's an element of that out there. I think there's some things that are completely shady, but but it makes things harder for things like Skyline doing it the right way. There are some people out there that I'm sure are taking advantage of.
Absolutely. They call them awards farms or whatever. So you basically submit, and just for submitting, you get this like certificate or something, or this bogus online festival that never happens. And there's always some sort of technical glitch or something. But, there's been people who like go to big festivals. Oaxaca in Mexico is a big festival. And there were some protests going on last year or the year before, I believe. And some of the films didn't get shown because there were protests, like pretty enthusiastic protests going on, not protesting the film festival, but something else that was going on in Oaxaca, because there's a lot of shit going on in Oaxaca. And, that film festival and its directors and its board stuff got slammed. It's like, well, what are they supposed to do?
Right.
It wasn't a time when everybody was going virtual. It was, pre all that. And you got to make a call for safety. And these filmmakers were just railing them, and it's like, you got to have some understanding and built in to, appreciate what they're going through, especially if you didn't bother to make the trip,
Yeah.
Yeah, that one sucks too, because I feel like last year a lot of filmmakers went after just the smaller festivals that had to cancel. Not that, you're not going to go after bigger ones because you're not going to piss anybody off over at South by Southwest or something like that. But
right.
Well, I will always put up a screen in my backyard.
There you go.
Skyline is going to happen somehow, some way.
Well,
but is it going to be
that you give a shit? You know what I mean? So it's like that's the thing with Virginia Emerging stuff. It's like if somebody's going to take the time to come out here, I mean, I'll recognize their faces by the time they get here, and I'll greet them when they show up, and we'll talk, and we'll introduce them to other filmmakers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
because I care about what they're doing. But there's a situation. There was one with a Mother's Will that got into a little festival in Asheville, North Carolina, right? And it's a cool town and everything else. And I didn't go. It was something just felt wrong. I was planning on going, and then it just felt funky. Like some of the communication was just off. I'm like, I don't know if I want to drag my wife out here, drive that far, and have this be funky. And then I heard from another filmmaker that went, and they're like, man, they like put us, there was the block that I was in. They're like, oh, well, they put all the filmmakers that showed up in like a classroom somewhere with a laptop. They didn't even have somebody to run the laptop. They're just like, you just walk up and start your film. They have they downloaded all the films onto some laptop and just left everybody there. Like, have fun. So, that's no good.
That's
so
no
there's all
bueno.
kinds of different levels of stuff that you get involved with, right? So it's like, and then there's locally, I mean, there's that Clifton Film Celebration was really cool. It was not big, but in Clifton, Virginia, is such a cool little town, and you show up and it's like, they did a screen and they had popcorn and they're all like dressed up and they got T-shirts for you and everything else. So it's like, it's just a level of giving a crap about what you're doing, right? So
I think people that, especially starting out with the film festival, I get asked this a lot. It's like, how did you get started? How did you know it would work? And all this other stuff. I still don't know that it'll work, but we're trying. But there's a degree of customer service that no one ever talks about, and there's a degree of technical ability that no one ever really talks about. They think, oh, I'll just get a projectionist or a tech advisor or something like that. But like everybody with the festival in the room needs to know how to get the film going or restart it, or if the screen falls off the wall, put it back up. You got to have problem solvers at every volunteer position, and hopefully your board members are capable and stuff like that, or to run box office, or to scan tickets with your phone, or whatever the case is. You need problem solvers, and I think people think it's an easy thing to do. I certainly did the first year. I was way optimistic. We had like 9 venues across the town and county. We played everything twice on DVDs. And, I was just expecting 10, 15,000 people. We didn't have 10 or 15,000 people. Expectations adjusted, and you move forward.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything else, a building process. I'm sure that each year that I've talked to, you're getting more submissions, right? And the quality goes up. And then you get relationships with people that are submitting each year and so forth, right? I'm sure you're getting involved with I don't know. I think you've had some producers, right, that had things get into distribution in different channels, and they just get used to bringing their projects to you early on and so forth. So, it's like anything else in business, right? It's a building process.
Yeah, and it's like they say, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. So,
right.
Listen, I guess I've never met the Scene Snob in my international media conglomerate that I'm building here.
Exceptions to the rule, baby. Exceptions to the rule.
Was it Steve said something earlier about revenge is the best success? And I was like, well, I'm still working on that part. I'm still working on the revenge.
I had a question, Scuba Steve. Are there any festivals in Virginia? I was thinking about this today. Besides like the Virginia Film Festival, which is basically all nationally distributed stuff, right? Is there anything concentrating on just film in Virginia that's doing a Virginia-based film festival that only is accepting Virginia film? I was wondering about that.
Not that I know of. There's a ton of them though. Like Rappahannock tried it, the Rappahannock Arts Council, RAC, and they were actually only doing films from Rappahannock County, and I was like, well, how are you going to have a festival after 1 year?
Yeah,
and so they broadened it out for year 2 to Virginia, and there's a couple of people who have relocated out there who have made films, produced or directed or whatever, but it wasn't a wide enough pool to do that. They were far too myopic in that regard. So I don't know of one that specifies just in Virginia submissions. I feel like there probably is, but I don't know what it is.
Because the Virginia Film Festival, I'm not sure they show anything made in Virginia, to tell you the truth.
It's like Middleburg. It's like we think these are going to do well for award season, and they already have distribution. They're already sold. It's Sundance things that sold. It's South by things that sold, things like that.
Yeah. So. Speaking of which, did you get on board with the Minari digital screenings? I saw that because we were thinking it was going theatrical until a couple of days ago, and now they're doing virtual to benefit different nonprofits and stuff. I saw Film Pittsburgh is on board, and they've sold out their first 3 shows already. Did you see that? Did that come through yet?
I got the invitation to participate, but I haven't followed up on it yet. I think I saw the first email Thursday or Friday last week. And I didn't recognize it as something associated with A24 at first. Yeah. But when I saw that logo on the second email, I was like, oh, I should probably take a look at this. So no, but hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, A24, they have certainly not stuck with the, we're going to support theatrical stuff. St. Maud, they dumped it and all that kind of stuff. So, Minari, that thing, I'm hearing Best Picture kind of buzzed out of that. So,
oh, wow.
I'm going to see that. My son's crawling around in the office. You want to say hi, Bert? He's waving from over there.
Yeah.
Mine will be around somewhere.
Yeah, I'm going to see that thing. We're going to follow back up later on and see if they want to do a theatrical screening, just a one-off after the virtual stuff's done. But they're certainly everybody's doing different models through this time.
For you though, like what do you guys have been showing basically everything. I mean, you have classics, but you've been getting a lot of the awesome new titles coming out. My big picks from last year were all independent, and they come from the Alamo.
That's cool.
With the exception of Cosmos, which comes from Brian.
Well, there's some distributors, man. I mean, now Sony Pictures Classics is getting right back into their regular thing where they're doing platform releases, which I think is insane right now. I mean, like The Father, they're doing, oh yeah, we're putting it out next week, but Winchester can get it in April. I'm like, there's only so many theaters open. What are you doing a platform release for, right? New York and LA aren't open, so the traditional, like, we're opening those 2 first and then sort of filtering down. That's not a thing anymore. So for now, so that's a frustrating thing. So they're the one extreme. A24 is the other side. Like, I don't think we want to do any theatrical. But we've gotten a lot of good stuff from IFC, and it's also been really interesting because some of the films that I think different distributors wouldn't be able to land before, they would have gone to bigger distributors, or it's sort of trickling down too, right? Some people are getting some things that they might not otherwise have gotten.
You guys have been open. You were like one of the first theaters open, right?
Yeah, we were the first one in the Alamo brand. We were just like, we got to get going. We talked about this before because we're the anchor tenant for a center that we own. So it's a different situation for us because a lot of the Alamos are like, well, if we're not closed, we can avoid paying rent to the landlord. We're our own landlord. So what's the point, right? So, but yeah, we were open 2 or 3 months before any other Alamos, and they're not even all back open now. It's sort of going slowly. But
Yeah, well, they typically stick Alamos in some pretty bustling places. So
Yeah.
they do, and that's the ones. I mean, you talk about the profitability of the company. The store in Brooklyn makes four times the sales that we do. You know, it's just an insane amount of sales that they do out of Brooklyn, and that hasn't reopened yet. So,
Damn.
San Francisco, you know, LA was ready to open. You know, so it's tough, man.
And you guys, so I want to talk to you about the Atmos. The Atmos. I just had it. Ventilation system you put in.
Yeah.
You can tell us about that.
Yeah. So it's and that's showing up in a lot of different places. We're excited to have it. It's sort of the way they explained it to us is it's basically plays Pac-Man on coronavirus, right? So it's 99.5% effective from with coronavirus, where it just sucks stuff out of the air, right? So I have a similar thing in our house where my son, again standing right here, had a lot of allergies, and we put in this air filtration system in here, and he all of a sudden just stopped sneezing, stopped getting runny nose. It's amazing. And then a couple weeks ago, he started feeling sick, and we went down and checked, and the thing had stopped working. And so he's that sensitive to it, right? So it's a similar thing for the theater, where it's just all around. I mean, other things too. You're in a restaurant environment as well, right? We have a full kitchen, so it sucks some of that stuff out. Or sometimes the kitchen, the smell of like fried food will sort of seep into the lobby, and it helps take care of that. And we're really excited about it, and it's getting installed in all sorts of places. Like Norwegian Cruise Lines installed it in all their ships. The Empire State Building's got it in. Staples Center put it in. I think I'm sure a lot of other people are going to start to do that. We're lucky though in terms of this round of government funding with the Save Our Stages Act is that we put it in last year, and when Save Our Stages got approved, they're like, oh yeah, if you did some things like that to improve the physical plant, you can credit this towards your grant. We had already done it, but they told everybody that with like a week left. Somebody's like, well, I would have done more if I would have known it was going to be free, you know. So like that, we were doing it anyway. We had already paid for it, but now it looks like we'll get some reimbursement for it, which is
that's good. So I'm gonna put on my environmental health specialist hat for a second. Is it a passive like filtration system, or is it electronic? Well, like how does it work?
Yeah, that's a good question.
The fact is, it works.
Yeah, it works. Yeah,
do you have to get a tech for it or something? Like
they come out of the shark's eyes. Yeah.
Space Force. They all Space Force got disenfranchised, and now they're like shooting COVID virus.
It's just vacuums that are attached to vents. That's what it is.
Yeah, right. So it attaches. It's like it's on the roof, attaches to the HVAC system, and combines with that to do it's some black magic. I don't know. But it works.
That's what matters, is it works.
That's right.
So,
and
everybody.
in all honesty, it's like anything we can do, and it's not just a PR thing, but anything we can do to make people feel more comfortable is important to do right now, you know?
Yeah. So what are you guys most excited for coming out soon?
Minari.
And I know Fast 9 is what Brian's most excited for.
Don't give a shit about Fast 9.
Oh man!
Because you stopped it too. You stopped it too.
I don't have the bandwidth to take in another one. I've got the rest of the year, man. Leave me alone.
It's so hard because like things get moved so much that it's like, I sort of forget what I'm excited about, because it's like, well, what's going streaming, what's going theatrical? But I am excited right now for Judas and the Black Messiah, which everybody that saw it inside Alamo is like raving about this movie. They say it's fantastic. So
is it out on the Alamo now?
It comes out this weekend.
Okay, it is this weekend. All right, I wanted to make sure because I didn't know that it came out already.
This weekend, assuming it doesn't snow 3 feet. So here's the thing: is that what I've determined, scientific fact, is that baby Jesus hates me, because it's every week now. It's like it's not enough. There's a pandemic and no movies. When we do get movies, it snows, right? So it's snowed for it's going to be 3 weekends in a row. It looks like. So it's just, what are you going to do? But that's this
You
week.
got to open on Tuesdays instead of Thursdays.
I'm telling you, the Land with Robin Wright starts this week too. Which
I've heard of it. I don't know what it's about though.
Oh, and breaking news in Yuba County, which I'm looking forward to, which is actually an Alamo exclusive. We're the only theaters in the country that are showing it. Which is
cool.
Wow. Is that a Neon title?
No, it's not. But it's which would make sense, right? But Neon doesn't give as much preferential treatment as you might like to think for the old Alamo Drafthouse. But
Interesting.
no, it's I want to say Lionsgate. I'll look it up while we're talking. But it's the cast is ridiculous. You should look up this cast of people.
Mila Kunis is a star of it, right?
She's in there. Aquafina's in there. Our boy Matthew Modine is in it. Allison Janney's the lead. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. She's great. So I'm going to type that in right now and see who the distributor is because I'm going to be interested in that.
AGC Studios, 9 Stories. I don't know. Oh no, that's not distributor. That's a production company.
Pac-Man Films, Shark with the Laser Beams Films. I was thinking some fun names for production companies. I think it'd be fun to have one called Fix It and Post Productions. Wouldn't that be fun? Also, we're always talking about too. It's like you can't, when you edit stuff, you can only work with the stuff that you have, right? So it's like polishing a turd. So I thought Polished Turd Productions would be a fun one too.
Yeah, I like that. That works.
Like
Some of the like typical things that people say in post or on set or something.
Oh, my boy's in it. I'm getting ready to interview him soon.
Who you got?
Clifton Collins Jr. That's one of my favorite actors of all time.
Well, somebody else is attached to this. It says American International Pictures. What is that supposed to be? Anyway.
It's a good lineup. Holy
I know, man. Look at Ellen Barkin. Come on now. But Juliette Lewis is in here. Wanda Sykes. I mean, it's a huge cast. So
who don't they have?
Who's not in this? Right? Just save time and say that. Yeah. Denzel's not in.
Ashton Kutcher. He was just on set.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The rest of the year, I don't know exactly what I'm really excited about.
Yeah, like you said, they just keep moving everything around, so it's just kind of getting boring.
Mm-hmm. I was really excited about St. Maud. Now that just finally, after 4 date changes, it looks like it's streaming somewhere. I don't know.
About time. That one
I'm so far out of touch with like big titles that are coming out. Big titles.
Right.
I really don't know what they are right now. I've been working on this list, 365 features that I haven't seen.
Oh, wow.
To watch this year. So I'm watching a bunch of old stuff too.
You doing like a movie a day?
I'm doing like 3 on Sunday, 2 on Friday.
Well, what stood out so far?
What stood out so far?
Yeah, something that you're like, oh my God, I wish I would have seen this 10 years ago.
Well, it's not 10 years old, but have you seen Big Kill? It's a Western.
No.
Steve. Oh God, what's it? I think it's not the Steve Martin, but it's Steve Martin maybe. I really enjoyed that one. I went on this whole Western rant. I watched the Ballad of not Buster Scruggs, the Ballad of Lefty Brown. I really liked that one.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was really good. I did a bunch of period pieces, American Civil War times, 12 Years a Slave, and Harriet. I thought Harriet was really good. I've been watching a bunch of stuff to make me cry, basically.
Yeah.
Big Kill's funny though. That's not a crier. That's a funny one.
Did either of you make it out to see Little Fish?
Not yet. I saw your recommendation. I want to see it. Is it still in?
Yeah, it's still there, and it's so great. And I'm relieved because lots of times I'll get excited about something. Like I remember I told Brian Patrick that I loved the movie Her, and he showed up. He's like, "That's straight garbage." He hated it. But
that is inaccurate.
But no, it was cool because very few people made it out to Little Fish, and so we're not going to have it next week. But every single person I've talked to that went loves it. Oh yeah, hey there you go.
See that? Her. One of my favorites.
Look at that.
Come on, tell us.
Little Fish is incredible, man. It's so well written, and just it's a beautiful, beautiful movie. But I don't know, man. It just missed the. It just didn't get any promotion because it's with IFC. They don't promote anything.
I never heard of it until you made that post.
Here's the thing: is that since they're one of the distributors that's actually given us product, like whatever we want to show, they'll give us. So I really pay attention to what's coming from them, and they'll send me screener links. So I'll watch stuff and see if it's something that I think we want to get behind. And Littlefish, I was super excited, but apparently me running my trap nonstop for a month didn't really affect sales. So. But it's
been
really, really good.
Time.
I hope you get a chance to see it. Everybody's freaking out on it that's seen it.
Even for me, when I get out to the theater, it's like daytime.
Mm.
Like I don't have any time to do anything. It just seems like something just like even tonight, like I just had a show. I have this show. I have a show at 8, and I have to record at 9. So like my nights are just ridiculous.
Wow.
And whose fault is that?
Mine. Oh, 100%. I blame myself for everything. I am all about accountability.
Well, if you take all that on, I'm going to start blaming you for stuff too.
You should. 100%. You did the other day when we came up with a new show idea. And
oh, yeah. Oh, my God. So Mick, the king of show ideas or whatever, he calls me up and he's like, hey, let's do this. And I was like, yeah, I think that would work. And we could, do it every other week in between our Pulling Focus podcast. So there's weekly contact, and then we could do this and contact this, that, and the other.
That was your idea, sir. I said once a month. Right.
But I started thinking asshat. And so I sent him this link, and then I watched that link because I remember that I loved it. And then I went and watched everything that guy's ever done, short films. And that led over here and that led over here. And like 4 hours later, I sent him a text. It's like, look, you motherfucker. I'm on the short film wormhole now. I hate you. I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
The best, my favorite part of all of that was he goes down the rabbit hole of short films, and I go on Facebook and I'm just like, hey, if anybody has short films, send them to me. And I've gotten nothing but short films sent to me since then. And I'm just like, I got like 3 episodes ready.
Well, as usual, like my big concern with your idea was that it's hard to get films, and I don't have any. So.
Oh, you can get them, definitely. You just got to write it on Facebook, and then people are like, yes.
I'm trying to stay off Facebook. We had this new co-director, Billy Ray Bruton, and I was hoping that he would take over social media so I could just get off of Facebook altogether. Mm-hmm. But that hasn't quite happened yet. But I go on like twice a week now and like flood it with shitty posts from Cube Life or whatever, and complain about the Super Bowl halftime show and things like that. So
I didn't think it was that bad.
I thought it was atrocious. I like The Weeknd. I've been to see The Weeknd. I like The Weeknd, but I thought that was not good.
The Weeknd's cool, man. The sound was not good. Mm-mm. I mean, the mix, but he was singing live. You could tell he was singing live. I mean, there were things that different phrasing and stuff from the records, right? And you could hear little things in his breath. Mm-hmm. So he was live, which you got to give. There's
kudos for that. Yeah.
But I mean. Yeah, I didn't even realize how bad it was on the sound until today. My son wanted to watch it again in the car, and so I wasn't looking at it. I
just listening.
Going through the car stereo, I'm like, ooh, that didn't sound good.
Well, I just think of contemporary halftime shows, not going back to whenever and to antiquity, but Bruno Mars versus The Weeknd. Like Bruno Mars put on a show in 12 minutes. I mean, that was incredible,
Well, can we all agree that the best halftime show in the past decade was Prince?
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
I mean, that's got to be the best ever. I can't imagine that there's anything that competes with that. I mean, but there's also, I mean, you got to put a little bit into, if you like somebody, you're going to like it more, right? But it's just Prince. It's hard to argue that, man. I love Prince, and Purple Rain's one of my favorite songs ever. And he's playing Purple Rain in the rain. I mean, it's ridiculous.
He arranged it. He did it on purpose.
I went down a rabbit.
Super Bowl. That's the thing. Everybody's like, "Oh, we shouldn't have the halftime unless it's AC/DC or whatever." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's like I can tell you who was in the halftime show the last 4 years, but I can't tell you who played. You know what I mean? I forget who played the game."
Yeah, I am not vested in sports ball. I watch it. I watch every Sunday, during the season because it's on, But I also used to watch NASCAR for years. I grew up in a NASCAR town, had a track and that whole deal. Like second grade field trips to the track to watch the time trials and stuff. So like NASCAR was a big part of life where I grew up, and I carried that with me until adulthood, and then took some time off for some reason. I don't remember what happened, and tried to go back to it, and I was like, this is boring. But it was just something on, which is kind of how I deal with football now, because I don't watch college sports at all.
Yeah.
I'm doing shit on Saturdays,
Yeah.
I might watch a bowl game or two, but not usually.
I sat and watched that Super Bowl last night, and I was just like, God, let this be over so I can watch Ted Lasso, because I'm like binging Ted Lasso right now, and I was like, just please let this be over so I can start the next episode, because that show is great and this game sucks.
Game was terrible.
Yeah,
it was the worst.
And especially disappointing because the playoffs are great. I mean, it was like one great game after another, and then just that dud for the finale.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened. I mean, Kansas City's a better team than the team that showed up last night. It's really weird.
Offensive line was beat up. And the offensive line coach almost killed somebody this week, so I'm sure that played into the psyche of the team. So
that didn't help.
There was a lot going on the Kansas City side that points to that. And it's before the game, I'm like, this shouldn't be a good game except for these things that are going to make it interesting. But it didn't even make it interesting; just made it a pile of crap.
Yeah. And Tom Brady's still the GOAT. That's
man, it's what and the thing is, I've always just sort of been sick of the Patriots and everything, but that's been pretty impressive what he just did, man. I mean, that dude is old, It's like
old and then go to a brand new team. Like, yeah,
man, I stopped going in the pit when I was like 38, and I thought I was the man. You know what I mean? This guy, 43, you were hit by people that are 300 pounds,
Yeah, like hit hard a couple of times. December a year ago was the last time I saw Guar. Sad. And I got in the pit, and I came around, and Steve, our mutual friend, Greg Culler, I just yelled at him on one turn around. I was like, pull me out. And I mean, it was a nice circle pit, and everything. I just couldn't do it anymore. And he's like, he grabbed me. I'm like, thank you so much.
It's like, I am too old for this stuff, man. My last one was so it's been some years now, maybe 8-9 years, but it was Lamb of God in Richmond, right? So it's the home crowd and stuff, and they were killing it. And I went into the pit, and somebody like hit the side of my knee, not really hard, and I was like, tweaked it. I'm like, oh, I think I might have ripped my knee out, man. And I was like, I'm just old. So I went to the back of the crowd, and I'm trying to be cool about it. And then my friend's trying to get out, and he got his glasses knocked off. So I had to go in and do like the Jesus Christ pose to get everybody out the way so he could get his glasses. And then I'm just in the back of the room the rest of the night, like massaging my knee. Went to the doctor. It was a disaster. I would tear something. I'm like, no, man, you're just old. You just.
That's the worst diagnosis. It's just don't do that anymore.
It's the 40s, man. Wrap it up and shut up.
I was like, no more pits for me after I started working security at the Stone Pony. I was like, after that and just being on the outside and having to deal with it, I was like, I can't do this anymore. But I'll tell you what, murder pits were always my favorite because you're literally just my job was to stand there like this. And if they came at the crowd, boop, get back there. And just, that's it. Just keep hitting them until they go back.
Oh, man.
That doesn't sound like peace and love.
Which one?
When was the last time you were there?
It's before I moved here. So, oh man, Jesus, has it been that long? It's 2013, August 2013. I moved here, so it had to be like June, July, because like I was just working there during the summers.
Man, you lived in Jersey when like Bon Jovi could still sing, right?
Yep. Bon Jovi went to, his high school was my high school. We were in the same town. Was my high school's rival in sports. We weren't really rivals because we lost to them all the time, but
you're right.
We call them rivals.
It's always the homecoming game.
Yeah, because I was right there, and we always came home and got beat. So yeah, it worked out well.
You all saw his thing where he did "Here Comes the Sun" recently, right?
The inauguration, yeah, it was
Oh,
terrible.
Oh my God, I've seen some bad stuff, man. That I don't know what to tell you about that. That's another one of those things. It's like, hey, John, did you show this to anybody before it hit national TV? I mean, this is unacceptable.
Yeah,
Somebody say something, you know?
like
Do you
he's
have a
got
fan
people that
anymore? What's going on?
he pays people to tell him when things are bad. Like they failed him.
Whew, that was rough.
Yeah.
That was rough.
I'll always have a soft spot for Bon Jovi, though. For me, always a soft spot. And Bruce, of course.
Sure, man, but it's like that doesn't excuse what happened. And especially since I really love the Beatles, and I'm just like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
The Bon Jovi song was so bad. I was watching it and just going, is it me? I'm looking at Christine and she's looking at me and stuff. I was like, this is bad, right? And she goes, yeah, it's bad. Didn't even register that it was the Beatles to me. I was just like, what is this?
So bad. And I have this thing where something is really, really cheesy. I'm not making this up. My eyes water. Like I can't really look at it. I get really uncomfortable. And so
You're allergic.
A lot of waterworks for old John. Man, it was bad.
Hey, so that brings up a question that I want to ask you guys. So, Bruce Springsteen successfully navigated his voice breaking like in the 70s and 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like his old songs, like if you don't know his playlist, his records and stuff, like you couldn't say that Born in the USA vocals are the same as the Thunder Road record or whatever.
Right.
They'd sound nothing alike. So, but he made that work for him when he broke his throat. Has anybody else done that successfully?
The first one that comes to mind is Tom Kiefer, because he just completely blew out his pipes and it took him years to make it back. But he sounds like he used to sound. So it's not like he's got a different voice now than he did. So that doesn't qualify, right? He just sort of rebuilt his voice, but it was he went through a lot to do it.
Yeah, and like I think Bob Dylan maybe, but like his cadence never changed. But he maybe just got old, because he was never really a screamer. I suppose a little bit in some of those songs, but yeah, it just popped in my head because when he was talking on that Super Bowl commercial, Meet in the Middle or whatever, I was like, man, that voice is ragged out.
Yeah. I can think of plenty of people that lost their voice, but not like you're saying, where he's like, he had a hugely successful career after his voice got ripped up, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody else who's kind of done it, we've always just kind of accepted them as like, okay, they're still here, but
they used to be awesome.
They used to be. No,
like I watched Van Halen on the last tour, and like, boy, David Lee Roth sounds like crap, but I'm having a great time,
That's all nostalgia. Like nostalgia carries a lot of clout, like you'll forgive a lot.
It does.
Due to nostalgia.
Well, I was talking to Morgan Van Avery. Morgan, I was talking to him the other night. He was in town, and we were talking about Van Halen. And he's like, it felt like sacrilege to talk about this before, but Sammy Hagar really was a better singer. It's like, what? Yeah. I mean, the show's not as cool, right? And the songs weren't as like raw and stuff like that. But it's like, man, he really was better.
Yeah,
I prefer Hagar.
Yeah, it's I heard David Lee Roth on Howard Stern show 15, 20 years ago or something like that. So it was morning radio, and like he hadn't got all the phlegm out of his throat yet. He's doing all the calls and stuff that he does. It was so fucking bad.
What do you do? He replaced Howard Stern on terrestrial radio.
No,
he was the guy that when Stern moved to Sirius, David Lee Roth was the guy they got to replace him in the morning show on K-Rock in New York.
Oh, Lord. Really?
It did not last a long time.
No. I mean, I think you just talk about himself the whole time, wouldn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He was who
he slept with, all the drugs he's done, how he's better than Sammy, how he and Eddie are brothers, but they just can't be around each other. Like, shut up.
I saw him the other night. I saw a video of him doing Panama with the Foo Fighters, backing him up. And of course, the Foo Fighters are great. They sound fantastic, and David Lee Roth is stinking it up. But it's a show now. He kind of looks like, what he looked like in that video? He looked like, remember Steve Martin when he do the Wild and Crazy Guy thing? With with the white hair and the stupid hat. You know, it's bad.
I saw a picture of CC DeVille. I don't know how old the picture was, but the meme was CC DeVille from Poison looks like a soccer mom that's going through some shit.
So true.
I mean, I would argue though, going back to Foo Fighters real quick, they're probably the greatest rock band of all time.
Of all time.
All time.
Wow, that's a big swing there.
Look at their longevity.
I think I might go with they might be the best currently touring rock band. I mean that I might give them that. But of all time, I don't know if I'm gonna be on board with that.
Nope, change my mind.
I have to come up with something for you then, right?
They certainly have mass appeal.
Yeah, a lot of it is what your taste is too, right? I mean, so that's a tough argument to make. But
is there anybody who would argue that they don't like Foo Fighters? I've never met anybody.
I know a bunch of people that, you know, say they've sold out and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. But, you know, every band, every celebrity, everything, every athlete's going to have that, you know.
Let me tell you something. I think that's a bunch of bullshit. For the Foo Fighters, I think sometimes people say a band sells out when everybody knows about them, right? I don't think the Foo Fighters have significantly changed their sound since they started. I mean, I really don't think they're that different than they used to be. Because they for that first record you go back to, they'd have some things that were pretty loud, you know, pretty punky, and then you'd have some stuff that's just straight pop music, going all the way back to the first record. So I don't buy that argument.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this: they do say that bands actually sell out when they sing "Here Comes the Sun" at a presidential inauguration.
100% true.
And they're fine until that point.
Foo Fighters, I've only seen them once, man, and they were incredible. I don't know if you guys have gone to see them play, but I mean, it's just so much energy. It's so good. Yeah. And I think Dave Grohl is super engaging too, man. He just seems like a guy you want to hang out with. So that's, you know, they get points for that too. And now at this point, catalog is nuts, you know?
Oh yeah, they put out a record a year, and like they'll like go to his house and record in the living room or something, and like they just put out so much material, and it
never sucks. They haven't started
pretty good
forever. Yeah, man. You know,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, you won't mind owning all of their albums. Nobody's going to mind.
That's a lot of albums, though.
That's true.
But I mean, they've done some cool stuff. Like they put out that '80s homage record and stuff. You know, they do good work for the community, you know, and stuff like that, children's hospitals and stuff. And they do, you know, maybe the sold out stuff comes from like when they're on Top Chef or something, and they, you know, they need a vegan menu or something like that, or, you know,
look here, somebody going to
they show up in other pop culture things. So
yeah,
Top Chef's awesome. I don't know what other people artists, I go right on there. That's the way I do it.
So you're a Top Chef guy, not a Hell's Kitchen guy.
No, I like both. There's room for both. There's room for both in my life.
They're not mutually exclusive.
No.
I can't get into the competitions. I like just the cooking shows. I've just been all of John Favreau's show. Have you seen the Chef Show?
The Chef Show.
It's John Favreau and that chef Roy, who he is now apprenticing under Roy Chow. Yeah. And it's just them visiting different kitchens and cooking with them, and because now that Favreau's an apprentice with them, just like it's great each season to see how much farther he's come along, and he'll bring in his celebrity friends and stuff to cook with them and stuff.
He needs to focus on the Mandalorian and get out of the goddamn kitchen. All right.
If he can do this and put out what he is putting out with the Mandalorian, then keep doing it.
Yeah, I have seen the Chef Show. That's fun, and it's like the intro is the food truck from Chef the movie and stuff like that. It's good. Cool. It's fun. I like it.
That's cool.
So, all right. Let me ask you guys this.
Have we started yet? Are we?
We're like in an hour.
We got 9 minutes till he starts another show.
That's why the computer's right here. I'm good, man. I have two computers. I'm on one, and then I'm just like, I got to break it up. I can't do live shows back to back to back.
Oh, I just assumed it was live.
It's a live broadcast. It's a pre-recorded show.
I don't have the lingo.
Steve over here to get your laptop with your YouPorn over there. That's what you got going on.
It is a lined up show. You'll see it go live in a few minutes. Yeah, no, that's become my life now. It's just, oh, okay, yeah, no, so it's going great. And then, hold on, I got to press play. The next show starts. Yeah. I'm like, how do they do it in TV? Oh, that's right. They have
your question. I just thought of something. When you talk about like great rock bands, and we're talking about Foo Fighters. Mm-hmm. We talked about how Bon Jovi crapped the bed with that Beatles thing. Did you see the Foo Fighters when they were on that Beatles tribute thing with Paul McCartney and Ringo were there, and they played Hey Bulldog? You see that?
No. Man,
it is incredible. And they just kill it because it turns out Dave Grohl is a huge Beatles fan because Dave Grohl's awesome. So that's the way it goes.
Dave Grohl's just a huge music fan.
Yeah, he is. Like, he did that Probot thing, right? It was all like black metal or whatever they were doing. I mean, he's just into music. It's cool.
Did you see what he did for Hanukkah this year? Every night he would put out a different cover of a song. Like, and he did. It was like the whole spectrum of songs. Like it was like the 8 Nights of Hanukkah, and it was him and his producer were just playing different songs. Like at one point, like he's doing a Bob Dylan song, then the next night he's doing Peaches.
That's awesome.
So he wasn't doing. I'm doing Hanukkah in Santa Monica.
I kind of wish.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going for. It's like traditional, dreidel.
Oh no, he was all in there.
I'll have to get a copy of this for you. It'll be out officially later in the week. But Julian Villard today put out a cover of Post Malone's "Circles." And here's the thing. He made it actually like good because that Post Malone sucks. You know.
I never understood the point of him.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. It's like it's one of those things when you listen to it, it's like, well, there's nothing going on here that's new at all. It's just like this sounds like 100 other things and people that are doing it better. What's the point of this guy?
Yeah. I never got that, and it always bugged me because I was like, is it his look? Like it's because
he's got some sort of charm and appeal because we were watching him on that stupid YouTube Hot Wings show, Hot Ones or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter was watching with me, and she goes, "He just seems like you want to hang out with him." I was like, "I don't want to hang out with him. He looks like he would smell bad."
That's right.
So is it for him? Like, but he his beer commercials are really funny, but like I've never seen him in like a talk show or anything, so I don't know if like he's coherent. He does not look like he is.
He played all of Nevermind live and streamed it. And it was actually pretty damn good. He was on guitar.
Cool.
It was pretty damn good. I'm sure it's still out there somewhere. That was impressive.
My whole thing is his lyrics, man, are so crappy. It's just so bad, you know?
Yeah.
You sit down and like read it. If you don't know a song, like I think that's a test of good lyrics. If you don't know the song and you read it and you're like, oh, that's really interesting. That's a good lyric.
What's
this is complete horseshit. And then it's like, then he's got a song. It's like some people like it, I guess, but it's like, man, those lyrics are crap, garbage.
What's up, Jason? So for you guys, like cover albums, what's one of your favorite cover albums out now that's ever been out?
Well, album or song?
I want to go albums because you can say songs and like there's tons of them, but like there's some people who put out cover albums that are just like that's always interests me. It's like you're really covering a whole album.
I think Dylan put one out. I think High Water was a cover album, wasn't it?
I'd have to think about that, man. I'm trying to think of examples of full cover. I mean, Def Leppard did one, which nobody wants to listen to that. Once they covered a T-Rex song, I'm like, no, please. 20th Century Boy they covered, which is one of my favorite rock songs of all time. And I'm like, please, Def Leppard, don't do that to me. And then Guns N' Roses did it, right? Spaghetti Incident they did.
Mm-hmm.
That's called. But I can't think it. Let me think about that.
So here's some that I don't know. The Rolling Stones, Blue and Lonesome, The Spaghetti Incident, John Lennon, Rock and Roll, Manic Street Preachers, Lipstick Traces, Johnny Cash, American 4, The Man Comes Around, David Bowie, Pinups. Like I don't know these records. Weezer, the T album is just 2 years ago.
Oh, that they did Africa on that one, right? That's their thing.
Yeah, I heard that song. I didn't realize it was a whole record though.
No,
That's weird.
I mean, if you go songs, I really love Killswitch Engage's cover of Dio's Holy Diver, and that's like sacred ground for me. I mean, Dio is like, that's one of my favorite metal songs ever, is Holy Diver. So for somebody to even attempt it is ballsy.
Yeah,
it's cool, man. They did a good job.
Like straight song, I would say the Lovemongers did a cover of the Battle of Evermore that I prefer to the original.
Wow,
that's saying something. Fuck you, Zeppelin.
I mean, there's so many covers out there. I always wonder. I love the one that was it My Guitar Gently Weeps, they did with Tom Petty, and the whole crew was there at the
Traveling Wilburys.
No, it was Prince played it. It was at the let's say it was like 15 years ago.
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
And, the Hall of Fame. And like Prince killed it. Like everybody's on guitar there, and Prince starts playing, and everybody's just like,
yeah.
What do you do? Like, you can't even play along with the guy. Like, he's just killing it. It's, if you haven't seen it, Brian, check it out. I've seen
it. I saw it recently, actually. Someone brought it up. Some other, Prince fanatic, and I was like, I remember when that happened.
Well, I'm big on Prince right now because I just went on a big soundtrack, down a soundtrack rabbit hole, and I listened to Streets of Fire soundtrack. I love that movie. I love that soundtrack.
Right.
And I listened to, and I can't wait till you guys bring Streets of Fire up. I will 100% be there for that. That's going to be amazing. And then there was,
I almost did that like last month. That was on a short list. We might have had some rights issues or something, but we're going to do that. We're going to do that.
Yeah. Streets of Fire is such an underrated movie. Then there's, then I listened to Purple Rain. I mean, the whole album is just amazing.
It's the best.
And then I listened to the Batman '89 album because I was just on a Prince kick. I was like, I'm going for it. I was like, I got to listen to this.
You didn't go for or Under the Cherry Moon or whatever?
That's a great album, though. That's a great soundtrack.
He doesn't always hit a home run for me.
No, that's fair. I mean,
I'll tell you, the movies are real bad. I mean, that Under the Cherry Moon movie was real bad.
Yeah.
That album's pretty cool. But it's not. I mean, it's not Purple Rain. It's not Purple Rain.
No.
And of course you get Xanadu soundtrack. You got to get into the mix because that's where it's at.
I need to try to watch that again because I bailed on it last time I tried. I know it's your favorite of all time movie, right?
Which one?
I wouldn't say all that, but it's one of those ones. The thing about it, and I was having a conversation with somebody else about this the other day, is that I keep having the same conversation with people where everybody that loves that movie is just like, you know what, it just makes me happy. It's like I don't have to think about anything for a little while, and it's like the music's great. It's such a stupid movie, and it's just like it makes no sense. And every time I'm watching it, makes less sense. I'm just like, who? I was watching with somebody the other night that had never seen it before, and I was just like, I would just turn to him like, can you believe somebody like wrote this shit on paper? I literally, it's amazing. The dialogue is so bad, but they were really earnest about it. They really wanted it to be a good movie. They spent a ton of money, but it's just like it's just so wrong. It's so wrong in so many ways, but then it's got this killer soundtrack.
I need to.
I love ELO, so it's not a. I'm pretty passionate about that band, so that helps for sure.
Well, I watched Xanadu for the first time in September. We did it for Behind the Box. We were doing our movies every week, and I watched it, and I was like, "What the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
This movie's insane and crazy." But you put what's his name, Michael Beck, in anything other than the Warriors, and I just can't take him.
Yeah,
he just drives me nuts.
Well, what else has he been in besides Xanadu and the Warriors?
He always shows up as like side characters and things. I can't even remember exactly what he was in.
He got a bunch of TV credits. He on some LA Law and stuff.
Oh, right? Probably. He wasn't in much.
CSI, wherever it is this week.
Chicago Hope.
Chicago Hope. He was on Cop Rock.
Oh, he was on lots of stuff. Yeah, he basically went the TV route after Xanadu.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, that thing. I heard
when that was all you could do.
Andy Gibbon there, that would have been awesome. But,
well, the Warriors is probably the last scene in the Warriors. We might have talked about this before. Is my favorite use of a song in a movie, and that's when they're all walking away, and she plays "In the City" by Joe Walsh. I don't know what it is. It's just that the imagery of them walking away and she plays it. It just hits the right way. I love that use of that song.
It's pretty good. It's a cool song too. Much better than "You Belong in the City" by Glenn Frey.
Ooh, that's a bad one.
It's real bad. It's real bad.
Confession.
It's better than Smuggler's Blues.
Smuggler's Blues. That was Glenn Frey too, right?
Yes.
Man,
I remember kind of liking that one. I thought that was from a movie.
Everything he did solo-wise, awful. I mean, just as bad as you can get.
Well, he was rolling on that Miami Vice credit he had for a while. So we got to make some music that goes with this. But
right.
I got a quick confession. I've never seen The Warriors.
Is that right?
Add that to your list now.
I did. I added it already. I think.
Yeah, that's another one of those movies that it's just really like Xanadu. It's just one of those movies that you couldn't make that movie now, right? It's just it's so much set in the time that it was made. It feels like it's of a very specific time. And I love that about that movie. Yeah. It's crazy, man. That movie's crazy. It's a lot of fun.
I love it. That's one I can sit down and just watch anytime. Like, I love that movie. And the fact that you haven't seen it, I just want to stare at your face as you watch it for the first time.
That's creepy as hell.
But Warriors once or twice a year, man. You should just wait around and see it on the big screen, because I think that's one that you really benefits from having a crowd there, and people will come up dressed as their favorite gangs and all that stuff. I mean, it's a lot of fun to see with a crowd. And I feel the same way about Xanadu. It really, watching it at home, I'll put it on when I'm at the house, but it's like while I'm cleaning and stuff because I want to listen to it, But it's but you got to sort of experience that with other people, I think.
Is The Warriors better than Breaking?
Did you say Breaking? Like
Breaking? Yeah.
Breaking.
Oh,
like
yeah, 100%.
The first, and not Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, but Breaking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Way better.
It's definitely better than Breaking. It's even better than Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, which is saying something, because that is the jam right there.
Well, let me ask you this, Brian. Do you think that Warriors is a dance movie?
I'm not confusing it with West Side Story, if that's what you're asking.
Because I could see that, though. I could see like New York gangs, like back then, like, but it's a straight up, like, it's a Western in the best word for it, in the best genre. Like, it's so fantastic. I mean,
so maybe like if Mad Max, if everybody hadn't left the city, it's like that. It's really cool.
It's the same universe as Mad Max, huh?
It's got some similarities there, or Escape from New York, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's weird because it's sort of grounded in reality, but it's not really at the same time, right? So it's like this sort of alternate reality that's pretty close to what.
Well, it sounds like
it's a really cool movie.
It's weird enough that it might be right up my alley. So I did add it to my list.
It really is, and I can't wait to see what you think of it. Because honestly, when it comes down to it, like, that movie, hands down, is one of my favorites, and it's a nice, easy movie. A bunch of gangs. Every gang in New York is out to kill one gang, and they have to get home. That's it. You see like 2 cops in the movie, and they're not even there for the gang fights. They're there to arrest a guy who's like hitting on an undercover cop. Like, it's so bonkers, the whole movie.
I think the best thing I can say about that too is that I didn't see The Warriors probably till I was in my 30s, and I thought it was great. So it wasn't one of those things that I loved when I was a kid, so I just still love it. Like
that's probably why I just assumed that I missed the boat sort of, and it wasn't going to be for me. So
I didn't see it when I was younger, and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, it did a great job with it. Yeah. Now I just want you to go watch it now. I'm going to end the show and just you have to go watch it.
I might watch it tonight.
It's so good. Yeah. So I'm very excited about everything going on. You guys got going on. Very excited for Virginia Emerging Film Festival. And thank you, Steve, for bringing me on as a judge. I got to do a good job. So then Brian's got to bring me on for a judge for his film.
Yeah, you're already expected to be there to report for duty.
Well, anything I can do to help, you guys know that. I want to plug
before you do that. Sorry, got to go off on a tangent. Not really a tangent; it's movie based. I watched The History of Future Folk 2 nights ago, Saturday. Do you guys know that one?
Yeah.
Long story short, an actual alien comes down to Earth to release a virus and kill it so that the people from the planet Hondo can come and colonize. But he discovers music and falls in love with music. And his ship is destroyed and he's trying to figure out a way to communicate like, hey, the Earthlings aren't so bad or whatever. And it's just ridiculous. I think I watched it on Netflix or maybe Hulu, but The History of Future Folk, it's worth a watch.
Is it a new film?
2014, maybe 2012. And like, you'll know it when you see it. There's the costumes.
Nice.
Oh man. All right. Let me look that thing. Sounds
Yeah,
like
I'm
fun.
going to check that out.
It's not constant laughs, but there's enough laughs in there that it's worth watching, and the songs are freaking hilarious. So
Cool.
Oh, it's a musical too?
it's not a musical, but there's music in it. They make a band.
I'm gonna watch this movie tonight, probably.
Check that thing out. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
We're plugging.
I'm watching that right now. I'm about halfway through that series.
Which
It's
one?
older. It's older. Godless.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, it's really
Western.
Yeah, really good. Well, it's got Scoot McNairy, and that guy can do no wrong. As far as
Well, unless you've watched Batman versus Superman.
I have not.
So there you
Nor
go.
will I, so I'm safe on this on this front. No problems.
I'm so done with those movies. It's ugh. I really want Wonder Woman to do well for you guys, but I really don't care about that.
I don't care about that. Yeah, man. But too bad Mandalorian wasn't a movie because that thing is amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
That Bill Burr episode, right? The next to last was so great. It was so good.
I saw a meme the other day. Somebody was just like, it's a better story within 15 minutes for a stormtrooper than they did in 3 movies for Finn.
Yeah, it's true.
Like a redemption story is so good.
I saw that character arc, that meme as well, and it said more character development in 1 episode than 3 feature films for Rey or something like that.
Yeah. Dude,
Everybody was raving about the last episode, which was cool. But I'm like, that Bill Burr episode, man, was my favorite of the season. That was really cool.
I just, as part of my list thing too, I watched The King of Staten Island, and Bill Burr was awesome in that too.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wanted to see that. That's worth a watch?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, check that one out. Pete Davidson does a great job in the movie.
Right on.
Yeah,
I didn't make it out to drive-in to watch that, so I haven't seen it yet.
That one, the circumstance in that one, I thought I had that movie completely figured out, and I was just wrong. So
One day this summer that they went exclusively to drive-ins, they wouldn't let indoor theaters show it. And I think it was Pete Davidson was behind that. He's like, I'm not comfortable with it showing in theaters. So,
well, that's a shame. I think he wanted it to because he made a joke on SNL about it not being in theaters, and he was like, "Yeah, of course. When I make a movie that's huge and everybody actually wants to go see, I can't play it in theaters." And I was like, "Yeah, that's sad, man."
Well, the fellas that did The Endless, Aaron and Justin, they came out and said on their social media, "This is going to be released in theaters. We don't recommend you go see it."
yeah.
I was like, "Wow!" I don't know who distributed that, but I bet they were pissed.
No.
Yeah. Not like
and now they've got a Marvel gig. Did you know that, Steve?
I did. That's awesome, man. That's so
Yeah.
exciting for those guys. I'm so happy for them.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with that, and I think you guys probably agree, is if you can have that many people at the Super Bowl last night, you can open movie theaters.
Yeah.
if you follow guidelines. I'm not the foremost authority, and my opinion should probably be taken with a grain of salt. But if you can do all of these things and invite all of these people to them, like the party at the Capitol on the 6th and things like that.
Get on an airplane.
Like you should be like. I mean, we've been to the Alamo. If everybody just followed those rules, it'd be fun.
Yeah. I agree with you. A lot of it's just perception too, right? It's that there's the layers to this are you got to be able to do it safely, and once you're able to do that and you open up, then people have to trust that it's safe to go, right?
Right.
And then not only the customers, but the people that have the rights to the films have to feel like it's the right idea to put them in theaters too, because because we have plenty of people that are comfortable coming to the movies right now. Plenty of people that want to come see things, but just not enough product to get them excited. I mean, we're sitting on like week 15 of the cruise, and it's still because people just keep coming out because it's like we want to see something. News of the world keeps selling tickets, man. I mean, usually that would have been gone 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
But it keeps selling because it's people just want to see something. So I don't know, man. It's not the whole slowdown in this isn't based on our sales, because it's like I see sales in other markets and stuff too. It's like that's rough, but in Winchester, it seems like people are ready to go, man. They just need some movies to get behind,
To watch. Yep. And there's only so many rep titles you can show, before you're just beating a dead cat.
And we're recycling those things already, man. I mean, it's like I don't know how many times we can show Mean Girls.
I think Brian and I
we're trying to get there.
Brian and I should just start shooting movies every week, one movie a week.
Yes.
And the Alamo, they're Alamo Winchester exclusive.
Yes.
They're selling tickets for them.
Netflix did it, right? New movie every week, all year, right? Netflix.
Yep.
I wonder how long that was in the making.
They're coming out of Pulling Focus Productions.
Man, I think you've got it. I think you've got about as much content now as Netflix. I'm pretty sure.
I was watching that pre-roll. I was watching that pre-roll, and I was like, Jesus Christ!
I have a lot of shit
going on
all day. I'm driving around all day working, and it's like, bing, Mick Manhattan's live. Bing, Mick Manhattan's live.
It's not always me, I promise. We have 19 shows now, and we have
that's incredible.
Another one starting tomorrow night. And then 1, 2, 3. I teamed up with the Mutant Fam that does the Joe Bob Briggs. They're all part of that group, and they want me to do a horror show, a horror podcast. And we did one a little while back, and then it kind of fell to the wayside because it was a part of something else that got canceled. But so they're still on me about like we need to do a show. So I was like, all right. And we now have a concept, so that's going to be starting soon. And then I have 2 more news shows starting, a game show starting, and 2 other shows after that starting.
What's the capacity, dude? When do you run out of bandwidth in your head?
Well, the nice part about it is because I'm teamed up with so many, like it's other shows that are coming on, so it's like they're just broadcasting to me, or they send it to me and I can just broadcast it. So it's all internet based, so it works. It's just about finding time. Like,
is that something that you can schedule in advance through StreamYard or whatever you're using? Or do you
looking into
be there at the top of the hour to hit go?
I have to be there to just hit go for it, and I like to be there just to pay attention, make sure everything kind of rolls pretty, it's rolling out well. Especially like all these people trust me with their shows. I want to make sure. But yeah, it's awesome, man. I'm working with a lot of really good people. And one idea I was talking to Steve about, I really want to do is like help Winchester small businesses, and maybe do like a GoFundMe or something like that. Something like a crowdfunding. But maybe I can get a bunch of interviews and stuff like that together and do something like kind of telethon type thing, where we can raise some money, here in Winchester, and then give it to small businesses. I don't want it.
I love a good telethon. Telethons are good times. It's like a
We
parade.
will be on for 72. Oh no. I don't know. Like do like a 10-hour.
Tired just thinking about it.
You should
I
do
did an 8-hour show.
You do a show called Watch Mick Sleep to make sure you have time to do it, right? It's like 7 hours of just watching me sleep. So it's a show, so it's official. So you got to schedule it in, right?
Well, I'm scaling back. Nobody wants to see this face anymore. They're like, we see it too much.
That's a whole TikTok channel is sleepwalking and stuff. So if you fart in your sleep or talk in your sleep or get up and walk around and make cheese sandwiches and throw them out the front door, like millions of followers right there.
Oh,
well, now I'm in.
That's what John Bon Jovi did. He made a cheese sandwich with Here Comes the Sun. That's what he did.
I'm excited.
I love your stuff, man. I'm tuning into your stuff all the time. It's great when I'm actually like not driving around and doing stuff, and I get that alert. I'm into it. I'm like, yeah, let me watch. See what's happening.
Well, appreciate that. We're actually hopefully soon, knock on wood, we will be doing a full channel that's 24/7, both audio and video. So like if anybody just wants to go to the website and watch, they can, or if they want to go and, just listen to, it's basically a radio station, they can do that too.
Cool.
So just kind of play it through.
You have to change your name to Mick the Mogul.
Once I start making money off of this stuff, I gotta get sponsors and stuff. But I'm getting there. I'm way ahead of my 5-year plan. I will say that.
Oh, well, that's good.
So I'm just not at the lucrative side of the 5-year plan.
Yeah, me either. Let me know if you figure it out.
No, we're talking. I've been talking to a couple investors who are interested and stuff like that. So, we'll see what happens. But I appreciate you guys coming on tonight, man. I do want to plug a couple. I want to plug the Alamo Drafthouse Winchester, of course. I want everybody to get out there. It is safe. It is awesome. Go check it out. Watch movies and support. Or just order out. The food is so good. Why are you not ordering? I also want to.
Slouches are rocking. I'm telling you right now. Chicken burrito, delicious.
Oh, nice. Well, I will be getting that when I go see Wally Wonderlands this week.
Yes, sir. Dude, you got your tickets already, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got that real quick when I saw it.
It's this Friday. We've got 56 tickets sold in advance for that thing already.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well done.
Another scientific fact. People in Winchester love Nick Cage. That's the way it is.
They really do.
Yeah.
I want to look at that history of swear words show and just see the analytics, and I know it's mostly Winchester, Virginia. I definitely want to plug Winchester Book Gallery too. That's where I get all my books. So everybody go check it out. There's plenty of great businesses. I'm always tagging them. So if anybody from Winchester is listening, go support small business. Enough is enough. Enough with the big stuff. It sucks. I've been getting a lot of meals and stuff from awesome small businesses around here and coffees and things like that, trying to support best I can.
That's good.
That's the big push right now I want to do and try and help as much as I can. But and anybody who has a small business here in Winchester, Virginia needs to be promoted. I am offering free advertising for you guys. We're Scene Snobs is happy to support. So just let us know. We can play a commercial, play a video, or just talk about you guys. So just let me know. And if you guys know anybody, you let them know, put out the word, and I'll be happy to do it.
Yeah, happy to do that.
Cool.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I'm going to have all of your, you know what? I'm an idiot. I made banners and I forgot to put I even forgot to put the banner up where, I introduced you guys. The whole time it's been sitting there. We're talking an hour and a half, and I forgot to put the banners up. I even did this one. Submissions are open. And then support the Alamo.
Hey, there we go.
Take your Valentine out for dinner and mention in the movie. Mention the Scene Snob, and you'll get tickets at full price.
They will charge you for your food. Make sure you mention.
In fact, you'll have to be charged to leave.
Oh my God.
Some
people are definitely going to ask your managers. They're going to be like, "Hey, the Scene Snobs," and you're like, "Yeah, full price." And they're like, "No, it's a discount, full price."
Yeah, it's a discount, full price.
I didn't see anything about tax or gratuity. Make sure you understand that that's also
double the tax, double the gratuity. Mention you watched this episode, and it's double the tax, double the gratuity.
You just went through a whole free popcorn thing, didn't you, Steve? On Facebook?
Yeah, we're doing all sorts of free crap. We just did Valpak with the buy one get one free on movie tickets, man. You know how unheard of that would have been. I mean, but it's driving a little bit of traffic, and it's just about, again, it's about getting people back in the door. Most people were getting good response. When people come back, they feel good about it. It's just getting them in for the first time again.
Yeah.
Can you send me some of your commercials and I'll play them before my shows?
Sure. I mean, yeah, we don't really have much in terms of commercials, but I could get something together for you.
I mean, I talk about Winchester because it's the only theater I go to. So, so when I'm talking about theater, I'm like, yeah, I was at the Alamo Winchester.
It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. I can't believe those guys are still. I mean, publicly held company, right? So it's like that's why they're still open. But it's like, Jesus, their sales are bad over there at the only other place.
Yeah.
Well,
it is publicly held, and they were heroes about a week and a half ago.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Reddit. Now do the same for everybody else. Take down Wall Street. Now at the Alamo Drafthouse, if you say take down Wall Street, you get half of
That's right. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for doing this, man. This always goes by really fast, doesn't it?
It really does. It feels like we're having a fun conversation. We need to get you on Pulling Focus, man. My partner's a real stickler for that, so you gotta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that guy's a dick. I wouldn't go on that show.
We'll definitely get you on, man. These are always fun conversations I look forward to. That's why I do this show. I'm like, I just want to talk to people and have fun.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for checking us out. And if you're checking us out again, remember to go check out the Alamo Drafthouse Winchester, the Winchester Book Gallery. If you're a filmmaker, submit now for the Skyline Indie Film Festival or get your ticket when it comes up. It's just always enjoyable talking to you guys. And I'm Mick Manhattan, Scene Snob. Go check out thescenesnobs.com, and I will talk to you guys later.
See you, everybody.